Good morning, good afternoon, evening, whenever time it is in the world when you're watching this video. My name is Sean, Fit&Vital Life, and I'm here in our gym in Holystone, Newcastle, to show you a back fat workout video that you can do with just a barbell, a bit of furniture or a bench if you've got access to it, and a couple of dumbbells. Now, before I go any further, if you need any help with workouts, training routines, anything at all I'm going to talk about in this video, or anything related to lifting weights at all, first of all, inside this group, if you're watching it live inside of the weightlifting group for female beginners, inside of the featured section of the group, you can see a bunch of different videos in there you can get access to for free, which can help you if you're self-motivated and driven to get to work. Use all them videos, they're there to help you, they're all helpful, they can all help you get started as a beginner. But if you need more personal help, if you need someone to help you and tailor your workouts and give you some specific support with help along the way, depending on where you're watching this video, if you're watching it live, there won't be a link on this video if you're watching it live inside the group, so therefore just comment or message if you need any personal help. But if you're watching this video outside of Facebook group, YouTube, online, wherever it is that you're watching this video, there should be a link to get access to our Barbells for Beginners trial program, where you can try it for free, and if you like it, you can pay for it. If you don't like it, you can tell me to get lost and send it back, and it's no problem whatsoever. So, first of all, I just want to preface this workout with a couple of key points, and it's something that I need to probably hone in every time I do one of these videos, and that is to make any significant change when you're lifting weights and the goal is to tone up and drop inches. You need to be progressing with your weights over time. That doesn't mean that you have to lift or go aim to lift really heavy and lift extreme like a CrossFitter, barbell, bodybuilder, or strength man or woman. Doesn't mean that you have to lift extreme as them, but you have to progressively lift heavier to keep challenging the body in order for it to make a change. So I just want to make that known. Some of you might be at home, some of you might not be able to progress with your weights that much at the moment, and that's totally fine. This will help you with a good starting point, but I just want to make you aware, just for everybody's sake, to understand that the long-term goal would be to progress with your weights. If the body has no significant stress placed on it, it has no reason to make any sort of change. I mean, that's not even just unique to lifting weights. It's, you can argue that for anything, any kind of skill that needs to be learned. If you learn a language, driving a car, anything at all, there needs to be a progression. There needs to be progress in some way, shape or form to develop whatever it is you try to develop. Driving a car, learning a new skill, getting a degree, new language, lifting weights, there has to be progress. So starting light is fine if that's all you're able to do. And also starting light is important to begin as a beginner as well, but over time you'll have to start progressing to make that significant change that you want to make. And in the terms of lifting weights to get stronger and more toned and to drop inches and to improve your shape, there's lifting heavier weights over time. But like I said, it doesn't have to be extreme, it just has to be heavy enough to make that significant change, to feel like you're working. And you'll know if you're making changes or not because you'll be able to see and feel it. So if you're not, you'll know you need to start progressing and make some changes over time. And if there's any questions about this, if you're watching it live or replay, just comment or shoot me a personal message and I can help you out. So, with any workout, you want to start with the hardest movement first, the more complex movement, the movement that involves the most muscles, the thing that needs you to think most with any workout, but particularly the back. And the reason being, well, legs as well. Well, actually, I'm just talking crap here, I'll just explain exactly. With any exercise, any movement, any body part, I'm getting carried away, I've had too many coffees. Let's just start again. So, with any exercise, you need to start with the most complicated, complex movement which involves the most muscles, because one, your mind needs to be fresh for good form, and your body is fresh as well for getting the most out of the hardest lift. If you try and do a bunch of exercises and then go to the hardest one at the end when you're fatigued and tired, you're likely to cause injury because your body is drained and it's just not able to do that activity at its best. So you start with the most complicated one first with any body part, right? So for the back, that would be the deadlift. And I've done a video on this the other day, so if you want to, there's actually a couple of videos now inside of the group on how to do a deadlift. You can go inside of there. If you're inside the group watching this video, you've got access to that. If you are watching this live or a replay inside the Facebook group, there's a video on how to do a deadlift properly. There's a couple in there. So the first one would be the deadlift, because not only does it work the bum and the back of the legs, but it also works the lower back and across the middle of the back here. It really targets those areas. You think about when you're doing a deadlift, when you're in that position, we're putting a lot of strain through the back of the body in general. So it's a movement where you're in this position. I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs around the deadlift, because like I say, there is other videos inside the Facebook group, but just understand where it's targeting and a little bit more here about how it's targeting those areas as well. So from this position, we're pulling the bar before we lift off the ground. So we're creating that tension in the back, across the lower back and the middle of the back. Now we're pushing through the ground through using the legs, but at the same time we have that tension through this part of the body. And you'll know, because if you've done deadlifts before, the next day you can really feel it across the middle of the lower back, because the angle of your body is like this. And like I say, if you're watching in the group, there's a video with more detailed instructions on the deadlift specifically, but I just want to talk about it in this context dead quick. The angle of the body is like this, so we're really putting stress on the back of the body in general, so it does target this area and down here as well. So don't be discouraged if you feel it in your back. You're supposed to feel it in your back, because it exercises your back. Some of the girls can, especially when we're coming here, can feel a little bit, they feel like they're doing something wrong because they can feel it in the back. But the back is just like any other muscle in the body. If you go and do a leg session, your legs are killing the next day, that's the same thing with your back. Okay, if you exercise your body, a specific body part, hard, you're probably going to feel it the next day no matter what muscle group it is. So feeling it in the back is normal. There's a difference between feeling that you've worked a muscle and difference between a pain and an injury. So it's important you have that distinction. Now when you wake up the next day after doing a heavy leg session, it's crippling, right? I mean, you can barely even move. It's like, especially if you haven't done it for ages. You'll get that same feeling with every muscle, including your lower back, if you've exercised that muscle in a way which is going to cause that. Especially if you haven't done much for a long time, or if you've stepped up the intensity, it's normal, don't worry about it, it'll ease off, and over time it's going to build up strength and it's going to be building up a strong body, okay? So don't worry if you feel it in your lower back, unless you know that you've done something wrong. It's painful, it's pulling, you'll know the difference, okay? So that's that one. Now we're going to focus up the top of the back, and we're going to concentrate across the back of the shoulders here, and across the top part of the back. I'm not flexible enough to get my hands all the way around, but you know where I'm talking about, across the top of the back. So there's a bunch of different ones you can do, but if you're just at home, or if you're starting out and you've only got a couple of dumbbells, or you want to just focus more on free weights in general, then this is a good one to do. So we'll get the dumbbells out in front of the body, shoulders stay back and down. There's always a little bend in the knees here, and we're going to stick the bum back, keeping the back flat, shoulders stay back, and then you're going to pull both dumbbells up, and you're squeezing across the top of the back and the back of the shoulders, working and exercising on those areas that I just highlighted there. You're concentrating on squeezing across the top of the back and the back of the shoulders. Really focus on pulling through those body parts first. Concentrate on those areas. One of the biggest things that's going to help you change shape and strength over time is focusing on working the muscles that you're meant to be working on, and that's what I just highlighted just there. So that's across the top of the back. We've covered across the top of the back with that exercise just there. Lower back, mostly lower back with the deadlift, and a little bit across here. So now let's talk about this area here, the lats, as they get called by the big bodybuilders. But the girls in our gym call it the bra strap area. That area that comes across this section here. There's a bunch of things you can do. Pull-ups, lat pull-downs. You've probably seen a couple of them before the gym. But again, we're just coming at it from a beginner angle, little to no weight or light weight, maybe not even access to a gym. So this is a good starting point. I've got a bench here. This could be anything. Could be a chair, could be a table, anything that you're able to lean over. It doesn't have to be in this angle, I'll show you in a second, but I think it's better to have both legs on either side of a bench or a seat of some kind. You might see people do it like this, with the leg leaning on the bench. You can do it that way. My personal preference, and maybe your personal preference, is a leg on either side of the bench. And then we're just going to pull the weight up into the body, and we're squeezing and contracting the areas that I just highlighted. We're focusing on that bra strap area. We're concentrating on exercising that. We're not just lifting the weight up and down. You're focusing on using the area that I just highlighted there, squeezing it, feeling it stretch. And then you do the same on the other side. Let's say you don't have a flat object, no problem. You could just lean up to something. I'll just use this as an example here. But it could be anything where you can just create some kind of angle to allow that movement to happen. Easy as that. Now there is one more exercise which gets this part a little bit more isolated than the deadlift, because the deadlift, it covers this bit, but it does get pretty much the whole back of your body. Alright, but if we wanted to isolate this area here, right through the middle of the back, we can do some underarm bent over rows. So you'll grab the bar, a barbell with an underarm grip like this. You'll bend down in the same way you did with the dumbbells for the bent over row for the top of the back. But now again, shoulders back and down, bend down the same way. But now we're pinching through those areas that I just highlighted, right in between the shoulder blades and across the middle part of the back, squeezing those areas. We're not squeezing across the top like we did with the dumbbells, and we're not squeezing here like we did with the one-arm rows. We're squeezing right down through here, keeping the shoulder blades down and focusing on that area. Just like with all these exercises, you concentrate on the areas that I just mentioned before each exercise, and you'll get the most out of your back workout and any other workout that you do for any body part. Focus on the muscles that you're doing. You'll get the most out of the tone, strength, shape, and drop inches over time. I hope this video has helped. If it has, leave a comment. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments as well. If you need any further help, like I said at the start of the video, there's a bunch of free videos in the Facebook group if you're watching this video inside of the Facebook group. But if you need more personal help, if you don't trust yourself to do it on your own, shoot us a message if you're inside the Facebook group, or however you're watching this video. There might be a link around the video where you can have a trial of our Barbells for Beginner program, and if you like it, you can pay for it. If you don't like it, you can tell me where to go, and that is fine as well. Just shoot me a message if there's no link. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.